Hi, I'm Mark Toole with 8020service.com. Today's customer service video question is a simple but very important one. The question is, where's the best place to learn about customer service? Okay, so I had this question myself several years ago. A little backstory on me for those unfamiliar. I got into this business, I guess, to helping people get customer service right. Several years ago, I was hired to run customer service for a growing financial publishing company, basically the newsletter business attached to James Altucher's blog. And at the time, the team that I became a part of, guys I still work with today on other projects, not on that, excuse the noise, that team, basically it was the team that took James from a guy with a very popular blog to a multi-million-dollar financial publishing business. And of course, with that growth, there were customers, and they had the CEO's wife, not James, somebody else, running customer service part-time in addition to doing other things for that company and other companies. And it was working, kind of, but they needed a better solution. They needed a more dedicated solution, and problems were starting to come up. That's where I came in. That's what I was hired to do. Before that, I had some customer service experience. I'd worked in a call center and things like that, but not a great deal, and certainly not customer service management experience. So I'm hired to come in, I'm hired to run customer service. I take over a customer service department with maybe hundreds of questions, tickets, complaints a day, 3 agents, 2 working remotely in the Philippines doing email, 1 guy in the US doing email and also calls, because for those familiar with the financial publishing business, there's a lot of very old customers who like to talk on phones, so they had chosen to have that before I came into the picture. Now, I noticed some things. Things were going fine, but they weren't going great. There were problems. The same kind of problems kept coming up. I thought, I need to learn about customer service. I need to learn about running customer service, the best way to provide customer service, the best practices, things like that. So what did I do? I went on Google, and I searched for things like customer service best practices, how to get customer service right in a small business. And what did I find? Well, probably about what you'll find if you go and type that in right now. A bunch of garbage. A bunch of people selling overpriced crap, and mostly not even crap, just services, software programs, applications. Nowadays, AI chatbots, but that wasn't much of a thing then. And all this stuff. Well, if you just build an AI chatbot system and our advanced reporting dashboard, you'll have good customer service. I don't want to buy a reporting dashboard. I want to figure out what we need to be doing, what we shouldn't be doing, what we should be doing. And the advice on that is very limited. It's, oh, well, you should be timing piss breaks and monitoring efficiency, and here's a formula to chart the piss break efficiency. That's not at all what I was looking for. I was looking for something simple. I was looking for ways to get this stuff right, and I was looking for ways to keep it simple and effective, good for the customers, good for me, and importantly, actually, not something I have to spend hours and hours and hours on every day. This was my full-time job to run customer service, but that doesn't mean I wanted it to be a full-time job. And I couldn't find anything really to do that. Anybody talking about this? Anybody getting this stuff right? The closest I came was when I read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. He talks a lot in there about the 80-20 principle. He didn't invent it. Other people talk about this. But basically, the idea is that a small number of things that you do in any realm matter a lot and make the vast amount of difference, and a large number of things matter very little. And the intelligent approach then is to focus and really amplify down on those small percentages of things that are making the biggest difference. And nobody was talking about this in customer service, so I figured I need to figure this out for myself. And that's what I did. And I sat down and I looked at things and I tried things and experimented with things. Some of these things worked, some of these things didn't, but basically came up with my own system, my own approach, which I now talk about in these videos, which I now write about on the website, 8020service.com, which I now help businesses get right as clients. Developed this approach, the 80-20 approach, the kind of thing that nobody else was doing, nobody else was talking about. They all had the fault. There's one main faulty assumption in customer service. Well, there's a lot of them, but there's one big one, and that is that customer complaints are inevitable. There's going to be a constant, massive volume of them being dumped into customer service like a dumpster, and that customer service is basically a dumpster, a one-way chute that problems come into, and customer service is there to handle it. And As long as they handle it reasonably well, more garbage will be dumped on them and no one will remember that they exist. Like that monster in the trash compactor in Star Wars or whatever. That's the way it's thought of in a lot of businesses. This is wrong. This is not the correct way to think of it. This is not the way I think of it. This is not the way you should think of it in your business. It's not an effective way. It's not a profitable way to think of it. Certainly not an 80-20 way. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing here. I talk about this in my other videos. I talk about this in my written answers on Quora. And again, on the website, 8020service.com. Daily email list there as well. Plenty of talk about my approach, which I won't go into in this video because that's not what you're asking about. What you're asking about is where's the best place to learn about customer service, and really it's from doing it. In my case, running a customer service department, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. Although I will say that that experience was also colored by my previous experience years before working in a call center, a big conventional call center at a financial company, and basically, it wasn't as bad as some, but basically reading off a script, having piss breaks timed, eating lunch at 9:45 in the morning if that's when they tell you that's when your lunch break is, basically being as replaceable as possible by design, a piece in a inefficient, well, ineffective, but in some perverse manner, efficient machine. They'll say it's efficient to have thousands of customers calling every day, and every customer service agent spending every second of every day constantly on a call. And as soon as one call ends, another call comes in automatically, and as long as the customers wait less than a certain number of minutes, it's perfect. If you have time to scratch your nose or take a sip of water, it's an inefficient operation, and something formula, something PowerPoint slide, you get the point. This is what I spent several years, unfortunately, working in this environment and learned a lot of things that don't work. I learned a lot of things that you should not do, and I learned not only from the perspective of someone working there in a low-level job and not liking it, there was that, but I learned and I saw firsthand from myself and the people around me, people working in customer service hate their jobs and wish they weren't there. They're not going to do a very good job. And if you have to follow some stupid policy that makes no sense, customers would get a sense that they're not talking with an intelligent person. They're not talking with a free acting agent. They're talking with an NPC. They're talking with a robot. They're talking to something reading off a script. And that's when, let me talk to your manager, comes in, because they assume that the manager is allowed to think. They just want someone that's allowed to think. And if you trigger that instinct in them that they're talking to someone who's not allowed to think, it's over. You're done. And I saw that, and unfortunately in that place you had to do things that would trigger that instinct. But basically, that's my recommendation. You want to learn about customer service? Get a low-level customer service job. See how poorly it works. Observe what happens, these policies, and observe how much you like your job when somebody times your piss breaks and records every word you say and harasses you about nitpicking over word choices and things like that. See how fun that is. See how much the customers like it. See how well customer satisfaction, customer retention, these things are when customers have to call you every couple of days about some routine thing. Then, if you can do it, run customer service for a business, whether that's your own thing, a side hustle of some kind, or like me, getting hired to run customer service for a small business, and take the reins, try things, see what really works, see what doesn't, get rid of the things that don't work, keep things simple, and go from there. That's really the best place to learn about customer service. I do not recommend that you read up on these things that people are selling, NPS for piss timing, reporting score, spreadsheet, dashboard, AI chatbot. These things may have some niche purpose somewhere, but that's not what we're talking about here. However, if you like what I'm talking about, if you like what I'm saying here, I do write about this stuff. I do make these videos. Follow me on Quora if you're watching there. I post these on YouTube, so you can follow me on YouTube as well. Read my written answers on Quora. Go back, see the stuff I posted before, and check out the archives on 8020service.com. I've written extensively about this there as well. So hopefully my experiences learning this stuff can shave some time off your learning curve, but that's totally optional. If you want to figure it out by yourself, I've given you the blueprint to do that as well. Do not simply find the first piece of conventional advice you can and copy it and assume it's good enough and act surprised several years down the road when you've got a big complicated mess, bunch of angry customers, high employee turnover, and lots of other problems. It doesn't have to be that way. Find a better way and make sure that that happens in your business. Otherwise, that's all for today. I'll wrap this up here, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.